let's talk about just being a content creator, right? Still now, to this day, there's still people that think that it's just pictures and it's just videos. The market is worth trillions of dollars. So it's a weapon.
Yep.
It needs to be recognized as such. People need to take this seriously. Hi, I'm Federica Labanca, co-founder of Fflow. Let's go.
Welcome to Ocean Can Drive, the podcast where we have brave conversations about dreams, challenges, and trade-offs to help you take the next step on your unique journey to building something meaningful. Let's get into it. Today, I'm sitting down with Federica Labanca. She is the co-founder of Fflow. Fflow is a social commerce platform connecting brands to creators and communities. What's super interesting is that when she moved to London from Milan at 18, she knew she wanted to work in fashion. But she consciously chose to start at the shop floor at Prada, not going to business school nor fashion school. And then she made a leap into entrepreneurship to build something in a deeply male-dominated tech space. So today's episode is about doing the work, no shortcuts, no perfect path. And it's also about how combining the right strengths, the right perspectives, and very importantly, the right partnerships can turn an idea into something much bigger than you could build alone. So Federica, welcome to Ocean Can Drive.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into your story, I really want to start with just explaining in simple terms, what does the Fflow platform do?
It's a platform that streamlines the way brands not only connect with creatives, but also interact with them and pull data from collaborations that they launch. When we had this idea, it was originally a way to give creators an easier way to monetize through their content, because the idea of affiliate link was always felt very abstract to me, essentially, right? And so I wanted to give an actual digital storefront for creators to upload their looks, and then we introduced video content so they could also upload fit checks, for example, because now TikTok, you know, it's the Gen Z time to shine. And then there was a whole category of creators that weren't really being tapped into, so like stylists, personal shoppers.
Gotcha.
And so we have AI on the platform that allows them to create flat lays so that they can essentially create a look with AI and then pull one link to send to the customer, and the customer can shop in one go. So that was the initial goal for Fflow. But then as we started getting on calls with brands and explaining what Fflow did, we started getting a lot of feedback, which was incredible. And so we pretty much shaped the platform around brands' needs.
Yeah.
We very early on we got on a call with Selfridges. And they essentially said it would be very useful for us to run our loans through a platform, because that doesn't really exist. And so we were like, how can we integrate that? And so we started building around this feedback. And if we do loaning, then we're going to do gifting. And then obviously, if we do gifting, the end goal will be to run paid partnerships as well. To build paid partnerships is the most complex in terms of coding, because you know you have to upload documents and there's a back and forth.
Yeah, there's an agreement, there's a payment, there's a
agreements,
transaction.
there's a transaction, there's drafts that need to be approved, there's reshoots that need to happen. And so since that, now we have a fully functioning platform that allows brands to run campaigns.
What I like about you explaining this process is something so important for any founder that's just getting started. You may have an excellent idea and that's your starting point, but you need to get it out in the world and you need to speak to the stakeholders that you think are going to be using it and get their feedback.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you might be building something that sounds great in your mind. Once you go to the market, it's a completely different story.
You know what? Your clients are your biggest weapon.
Yeah.
Because you want to sell something and the end customer is them.
Yeah.
And so why not build something on their direct feedback?
So what was the initial idea, actually? How did it start in your mind?
I'm the co-founder of Fflow. So Ezio, my incredible business partner, came to me with a very, very initial idea. We worked together in the past. He's had a few startups. He came to me with an initial idea, digital boutiques, basically digital storefronts, because I used to still to this day, get a lot of emails from brands, for example, right? The format, the contracts, like everything, that's all material that we needed to build Fflow. So it was born as a digital storefront, so an easier way for creators to make money through Instagram, TikTok, whatever they run on.
When you look at what you've built now, versus the other platforms or tools that were being used previously in this space and still used in this space, what do you see that is significantly different in what you've built?
Community.
Okay.
And the human element.
Yes.
This is such a no-brainer. I've built my career in fashion with relationships. So I really, really value meeting people in person. Most of my best friends in London are people that I've met through work.
Yeah.
And yeah, you never know where someone's gonna end up. You never know if a friendship's gonna, I don't know, grow from that. And so community and relationships have always been a very, very big part of my career in general. And so when we started Fflow, because you're not selling a tangible product. If we were selling a glass, so then it would be easier. But we're selling a platform, we're selling an idea, we're selling an idea of community, an idea of like, why should I use this platform? And so we wanted to build loyalty around it. This is why we created right at the beginning the Supper Club series, which is essentially, a supper club. The concept is that it's a dinner where brands and creators come together. So beyond emails, beyond DMs, so they come and they connect again in person. Because I really want them to connect with the creatives that they're working with. This is, to this day, our community has been the most, like, our selling point, basically, our best selling point.
Say previously in the fashion industry, there's very much this mentality of you can't sit with us. And through what you're doing, you're actually really trying to break that stereotype and do it in the opposite way by bringing people together in a very humane way.
This is why, even before Fflow, I just love hosting. And I'm lucky enough to have an amazing network of incredible people around me that I admire a lot. And, still to this day, the fashion industry is seen as this mean giant, big giant that is really not accessible to everyone. The most difficult thing that I find is still to this day is that there's a lot of women, unfortunately, that don't necessarily feel like helping or sharing contacts because they think that if I give you this content that you need, then they're going to stop working with me to start working with you.
Yeah. And actually, if you think about it strategically, it's almost like building a bank of favors.
Yeah.
And what goes around comes back around. 100%. It's not that exactly that person is then going to do something directly for you, but ultimately you're building a web of connections and favors, and that comes back to you eventually
100%.
In a very organic way.
Yeah.
I want to rewind to when you just moved to London. You were 18.
Yes.
No contacts, no other plan than working in fashion. What did that first year look like?
Okay, so another rewind, because actually I started working in fashion back in Milan. So when I was, way before I was 18, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to be in fashion somehow. I knew that I didn't want to go to uni because in fashion, experience is what counts.
Yeah.
And so I don't have anything against that, but I think, and I always give this an advice to younger people that approach me, just don't bother if you want to be in fashion. Obviously, it depends what, some of my friends are buyers, so obviously you need to have some kind of, math
Depends which
level
trajectory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, I just knew that I wanted to be in fashion, not knowing fully what fashion was, because at the time, I just knew that Sex and the City was fashion.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a wardrobe full of shoes, and that was my goal. So I started at Dolce & Gabbana on the shop floor. But then I realized that I wanted to be in visual merchandising / art direction. I just loved the way the team worked. And so I knew I wanted to do that. And I was explicit about it. I asked the team, but they looked me in the eye and they said, "You're too young for this." And this is very Italian mentality. So my ex-boyfriend at the time wanted to move to London. I was like, let's do it. And Dolce & Gabbana actually agreed to transfer me to London. So it was a bit of an easier transition, but still on the shop floor. I tried that question again because I still wanted to be in the visual team.
Yeah.
And the answer was still the same. And so I applied to another job in the position I wanted at Prada, and I got it with no experience in that whatsoever. That's when it all started.
Knowing what you want and asking for it and not shying away from it.
Oh,
that is...
don't ask, you'll never get.
So how did you go from the shop floor at Prada to the HQ in, was it under a year?
So it happened really fast because Prada gave me the space to show them that I really wanted something, and I went and got it, essentially. So I worked my ass off overtime every day. I was helping the HQ team a lot to show them, to kind of show, you know, you gotta play the game as well. A position opened because this person at the time left. And yeah, I just asked again. I was like, I would like to do it. I've put in the work.
Yeah.
And
like
so
you've proven a certain track record,
Exactly.
even though it was just in 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the feedback from all the teams was great. And so they gave me the position, and that it kind of snowballed from there. And it was the best school of my life, career-wise, because it was the toughest job I've ever had. So we would work until 4 a.m. and then start again at 7, sleep in the store. Like, it was that. We're not saving lives. Ruthless. But it was the best school because it taught me how to not take things super personally, because you're going to get a lot of feedback, and a lot of that is very negative, but it's not directed to you or your work. It's just
separating the person from the job.
Very hard still to this day, for me personally.
For a lot of people.
Exactly.
And especially women, we take things to heart.
Especially, I feel like when you're in the creative space. Again, I was also really young, but it taught me how to talk to people in a professional environment. You have a team to manage people. It taught me how to deal with jealousy. When older people, when you're in a higher position than someone who's older than you, that creates friction, big friction.
So fast forward 5 years, you decide it's time to move on, but you go freelance. No salary, no safety net.
Yeah.
First of all, what is the most uncomfortable thing about going freelance that was super scary to you, but you did it anyways?
Money.
The money part.
That's I feel like anyone who's a freelance will tell you that. When I left Prada, I kind of, I was talking to my dad. Obviously, my dad is the person I go to for business advice, because he also built something out of nothing. So when I went to him with an idea for our parents, it's quite scary.
It's very risky,
right? And so he was like, okay, but what's your plan B? And I was like, I don't really have one. But I kind of lined up a couple things for myself. So when my friends who are still employed and want to take the leap come to me for advice, I always say, it's still London. It's still super expensive. London changed a lot.
Yeah.
There's not as many opportunities as there were when I did it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So line up a couple things, which is what I did. I think I had one retainer at the time. Money was very scary for a while at the beginning, because once you get into the loop of the 30-day invoicing system, then you're covered. But at the beginning, you're not. At the beginning, you're used to a salary coming in every month.
Yeah.
But if I am doing a job now as a freelancer and I'll invoice, I'll see my money in a month.
Yeah.
If
it comes through.
In 30 days, because it's like with bigger brands, it's 60 to 90 days as well. So I feel like money was definitely the hardest part. And so that drove me to hustle so much. And I feel like that's when freelancers get successful, because you depend on you, solely on you.
When working with brands, you said something last time that really stuck with me. You talked about going in with a pitch. So you're not going in with just your profile and your amount of followers or whatever it is that they're looking at as a metric. You're going in with the idea of pitching something to them. What did it change for you in your relationship with the brands?
I love a pitch. I love coming up with concepts anyway. And that was within me since Prada days, I feel like. Because we would go to HQ with ideas rather than, what should we do, right?
I guess being very proactive.
Brands actually want to work with someone who has a background of some kind and has something else going for them rather than just an Instagram page, which I'm so happy to see because those days are over.
Yeah.
People don't want to see a perfect holiday, a perfect life anymore. People want to see relatability. So right in the beginning, if there's, I was on and off with agencies because I was busy with art direction and I had clients. And so Instagram started becoming a thing for me. And I wanted someone to help me deal with that, basically, especially when I was a bit younger, when I started this Instagram thing seriously. Agencies were not really doing it for me. And so I was like, you know what, I'll get the emails, I'll email them myself, or get them out for coffee or like pitch an idea. And you know what? 6 times out of 10, that worked. And so I just built on it.
There's also an article that you wrote for Marie Claire. Acknowledge that the content creator life is just not what it looks like from the outside. And you're very clear on A, doing the work, and B, also this misconception that a lot of people have around easy success from like an Instagram page.
Let's talk about just being a content creator, right? I have friends who have millions of followers now who used to post 6 times a day.
Wow.
On one platform alone.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea, not you because you edit these things,
but still,
do you have any idea how much time it takes to edit one video? So there's still a lot of work that goes into it. But unfortunately now, there's like still now to this day, there's still people that think that it's just pictures and it's just videos. The market is worth trillions of dollars. So it's a weapon. Yeah. It needs to be recognized as such. People just have to shut up about it because it's facts, right? Press doesn't even exist anymore, basically. It's all digital. Magazines survive with advertisers, but advertisers are now tapping into creators more and more. And so budgets are being cut left, right, and center. It's just frustrating. Like, people need to take this seriously. So even if you were to go into this career, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Treat it as a career. Treat it as a business. If you were starting a job, you'd be waking up at 6, 7 a.m. Exactly. You'd be working focus mode from maybe 8, 9 a.m. till the end of the day, maybe more. It's not you just going on holidays and taking a few snaps.
Exactly. So, for example, I started during lockdown because I have absolutely nothing to do, even though we were still working for Prada. And I started posting 3 times a day. Shooting every day, posting every day. And I went from 8,000 followers to 30,000. And so this is why I feel like a lot of us use lockdown to build an audience and stuff. And this is what I was saying in the Marie Claire article, that you still, in any field, in any industry, you need to put the work in. You need to want it for yourself because it's not just going to happen. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of late nights. It's still scary to this day, by the way, because I still don't have a, like, if everything stops, if Fflow just doesn't work out, or if Instagram just stops working tomorrow, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
you know?
There's a huge dependency still.
Exactly.
It's a big weight to carry.
It is, and this is when I'm glad I have a partner.
A co-founder,
As hard as it is to be in business with anyone, your mom, your friends, a stranger, it's hard work because it's a relationship. You end up being married to each other. I'm so glad because, you know, there's times where I underperform for Fflow, and there's times where I overperform, and he's always there, either telling me off or cheering me on. And I feel like building a business, you need that. I'm gonna have my times where I'm, you know, I recently went through something personal, and so for a whole month I was there, but I wasn't there. Yeah. And he knew that, and so he stepped up. But then at the beginning of the year, I stepped up.
I want to jump into this chapter, especially you building a tech company as a creative in a very male-dominated space. Where did you have to push the hardest to reinvent yourself or upskill yourself to step into this role?
Again, I'm very lucky to have Ezio, who's my business partner, with me. Obviously, he learned a lot about my world, and I learned a lot about tech and everything to do with money. I come in where I'm strong at, and he does the same for me. And we have a team, and if we don't do the work, there's a machine that crumbles, and we have investors. And so now it is an environment that we created around us I feel like that's where I struggle with the most sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm still Federica, and the Federica people and brands and clients know me for, but now I also have Fflow. So I feel like it's really hard for a founder to not be one with your business. It's very, very important to still be your own person outside of your business.
But I think in the early years, that decoupling cannot happen because you're actually learning to couple with the identity of a founder.
That's where I struggle.
But let's not forget, you only launched a year and a half ago, not even
a year,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you wake up thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it, you have lunch thinking about it, you have chats with people pitching it, you have podcasts talking about it. That's the main thing. You know, it's like...
There's not one day that Fflow isn't being pitched to someone.
You live and you breathe the business. And I think a lot of people underestimate how much of that slightly takes from you as a person. It's going to grow. It's going to become a different dynamic. But this phase, you cannot run away from that.
You can't.
Now with Fflow, you're full on in the early adopter space. What do brands get wrong or get right that you're seeing now in this space?
I want to go back to community.
The community part, yeah.
Brands are realizing that you can only gift so much. You can only reach out to so many people. You want to actually build loyalty around what you're doing. You want to build something long-term. You want to create experiences. And I feel like we lost that with lockdown. Obviously, budgets were non-existent because you couldn't do anything. Now brands are back to hosting so many events and so many trips. Bit too much, I think, personally. But they've realized that this is what creatives want, to create connection. There's so many brands that do very similar things in terms of product, in terms of what they're selling. There's so many shoe brands, there's so many ready-to-wear brands. It's so oversaturated with brands. Why should I buy into your brand? Even if I'm not physically buying because you're using me as a content creator to promote your products. Why am I buying into your brand and not this one, which is basically exactly the same? And so I feel like this is why brands are shifting more and more towards people that don't necessarily have a lot of followers, don't necessarily do this full time, but they're relatable. They would buy the product. Their audience does or would buy the product. And so they want to create a little family around it. They want to create, meaningful conversations around it. And this is why it was so important for us to start this at Fflow right from the start.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to set the tone that what we're doing is, yes, we have a platform. I'm biased, but I think it's incredible. The data you can get, the way you can streamline the way you work as a business. But community is so important because there's so many dinners happening every day and so many events happening every day. And it's a content machine, right? But why don't we step back for a second and give you a reason to want to be a part of this? So whenever we host these supper clubs, the incredible women around the table are wearing some of our brands. Why should they tag them? Why should they tag us? Why should they help us with this? Because we want them to want to be a part of this,
Yeah. You want it to be beyond just transactional.
100%.
You want it to be an actual, genuine, emotional connection. Yeah. And also, it's funny that you say this because when I launched the podcast last year, we did a launch event with Tara. And the first thing that I thought, oh my God, the people that are coming to this dinner, they must be invited to like so many dinners all the time. And I don't want them to just be there because they're, doing a favor to Tara or that they're like, okay, I'll do it. And that's actually why I created these conversation cards because I'm like, how can I give them a glimpse of what the podcast is about?
That's really
without, them watching a full episode. So I created these conversation cards that had like different questions. Some were like a bit funny, naughty, some were more like intellectual. And I was like, I want them to at least have an enjoyable conversation. So I completely understand what you're saying.
I mean, even though Fflow as a platform is not transactional, but you know, we're very numbers driven.
Yeah, of course.
But you can still make something like that really personal.
Yeah.
You know, and set the tone, especially at the start, because I had a conversation with my partner not long ago. And obviously this is going to change because the second you scale, that scales back a little bit as well, right? So we need to be realistic about it. But this is why it's important for me to do it now, because I want to create this community now that we have the space for me to be so front and center, for my team to be, for everyone in our team to be behind every single email.
This is actually the phase where you have the most time.
Yeah.
So investing that time in the community, and that's going to drive you the most value now that you can carry with you into the future when you won't have as much time to be you yourself physically front, left, and center, you know? I really want to talk about this because you're very much the face of Fflow in an industry where most platforms are usually faceless, right?
Yeah.
So right now, what does that take from you alongside running the COO and creative director role? But also, what does it give you back?
So I feel like I gave Fflow a lot and Fflow is giving me a lot back. I am the face of it, yes. And I feel like it's really important to put a face to any company. Especially in an industry that's so personal. And I created it because I do know the pain points in the industry because I have been on the brand side and on the creator side, and you actually know me because we've worked together. This is so important, and it's helped us so much. And so right now we're giving each other a lot.
Yeah.
Fflow and I.
Do you now feel a difference between when you were putting your face out there in the early days versus now, like the psychology behind it?
It's really funny, and I love talking about this because especially when you see my Instagram, I've built this persona over the years that, you know, I'm a little social butterfly, and I love talking to people. I love hosting, and I love being in the room, and I love looking pretty and looking in the camera and getting shot. But I am insecure, so I suffer from a very, very bad case of imposter syndrome.
Don't we all? I think, you know, being emotionally mature is not being like, no, I'm completely confident. I don't have moments where I'm down. I don't have moments where I'm insecure. Like, no one is like that. And if you're telling that story, it's just not relatable, you know? And I think, if anything, that's an example of how when you are constantly growing and pushing yourself, you are putting yourself in environments where it's a little bit uncomfortable because that's 100%. How you push the needle. That's how you push the bar. And you push yourself and become a better version of yourself. And if you're always comfortable and confident, then you're probably not evolving that much.
I completely agree. When you come across as this confident woman and you have an amazing career and this and that, first of all, they don't know. I've had cases of jealousy. I would say jealousy.
It is what it is.
In the past, where people wonder, how is she working so much? How is she doing all that? And they don't see the hours that you spend behind the laptop, like pitching and locking in coffees and doing that and doing this, but without comparing yourself to anyone, just sticking to your path, which is so important. They don't see the work that goes in. And it drives me crazy because if you use that effort that you're using now, talking about me and how, like, how is she, why was she, do it.
Just do the work.
Do it, or message me.
Yeah, ask me.
Ask me.
Yeah, come
because
from a
I love
genuine-
giving advice on this. Like, ask me.
I want to know, how do you balance your own instincts when it comes to the creative direction versus inputs from the business sides and the investors, especially when those two inputs may clash?
Yeah. So I'm very, very lucky because the people that we have behind us let us do what we think is best. And this is very unusual. Also, to be considered that we have angel investors around us, no VCs yet, and that's a big difference. So we obviously have to still report to them, but in a very, very different way, in a lighter way, I would say.
Totally.
And also these people are also friends. And so if anything, we come together and we come up with plans and, you know, we consult each other, we pick each other's brain. if anything, is not them, is my business partner. This is the person that I talk to the most. So when it comes to any decision that I make or he makes, we kind of consult each other.
What is the business model? So where do you make money?
Brand side, it's a subscription-based platform. There's different tiers.
Okay.
So there, and then we take a percentage on every sale that happens through Fflow, from the brand side and from the creator side. And then on top of this, we run campaigns that are, it's a fixed fee, and we custom them around the brand's needs. Events, supper clubs, that's another fixed fee, depending on the type of event that we host.
Who pays for the supper club? The
brand.
guest, the brands? Okay. What's something about the economics of the business that people completely underestimate from the outside?
The data. So we recently introduced some features that allow you to pull reports with insane data. I like to think of Fflow as a one-stop shop for everything when it comes to the creator space. So from connecting to creators to launching campaigns to pulling data, we wanted to make it way more meaningful for brands to start collaborating with creators. We wanted to basically put numbers and results to collaborations.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of interactions in this space that can go unmonitored and untracked, and then it's really hard to show the value for the brand as much as for the creator, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think what's super interesting in your case is that you worked on the brand side, and then at some point you also worked on the other side. So you really understand the needs and the pain points on both, right?
That's exactly it.
Yeah. And when we spoke last time, you explained how you very quickly opened it up to be a full campaign management tool for brands as well, which wasn't the initial premise, right?
Because we touched on this before, when you run a gifting campaign, you gift a lot of product, which is obviously, creatives forget that that's a big investment on brands as well. Because they get a free dress, but this free dress is production cost, shipping cost, like it's inventory, it's
especially
everything.
If you're a small brand that's just starting, and that is, I guess, a big part of your proposition is working with the smaller brands. Yeah,
exactly. And so we want to turn that into something meaningful that actually works for smaller brands in this case, but brands in general. And so brands, which is funny because now that we introduced this feature, we're getting on calls with all of our existing partners again, because obviously this didn't exist when they joined and they trusted Fflow without this, which is amazing. But we basically provide them with a whole infrastructure that allows them to pull actual ROI, conversion rate. There's a way of tracking customer behavior through a link for 30 days. So when you, as a follower, click on a link, you know, for example, higher end product, when it's a bit more expensive, you go click on the link that the influencer posted, get out of it, think about it, then go on the actual website that we can track that for a month. And that's incredibly...
It's super valuable for brands, and it's something that in the industry is quite...
Exactly.
It's requested, you know, it's expected. What makes Fflow's promise different, and how do you deliver on it?
With Fflow, we never look at numbers. We have people with 6,000 followers. We have people with 2 million followers. We get on calls with every single creator that we onboard on Zoom calls, and the fact that they take the time to go through a demo of 15 minutes with the whole team and understand what we're trying to build, to me, is what makes you perfect for Fflow. Because you're not just joining a platform because you want to make an easy buck, you know? You want to join because you understand what we're building.
Seems like very much a two-way street, like, which creates a very valuable space.
This is
for
exactly
everyone.
what we want to do.
Yeah. A founder habit you had to unlearn, and when you had to learn.
Switching off, unlearn. I'm always on.
You've had to unlearn switching off.
Unlearn.
You used to be able to switch off, now you can't.
It never goes to sleep, this machine. And something that I had to learn, I feel like it goes both ways. I had to learn being always switched on and being on my emails a lot and being on Zoom a lot, and getting into a less creative mindset.
Yeah, I guess a bit more structure, reining in the creative side and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So for sure that.
Looking ahead, what kind of platform is Fflow in 3 years?
So in the space right now, there's platforms that do campaigns and affiliate, and there's platforms that do data. Our big goal for Fflow is for, well, in 3 years, even less, maybe 24 months, I would say, to be the one that does both in the most efficient way.
We're gonna close up with some fire questions. The moment you realize this is actually working.
Yeah, when we closed our first campaign.
One thing you got wrong very early on.
Paying someone to get press.
One thing about founder life that surprised you.
Maybe having a team.
Having a team, yeah, managing people.
Yeah, I struggle with friend,
Different boundaries, different relationships. How big is the team?
It's 5 of us now. Like, we're a little family, so it's hard to...
What would surprise people most about your day-to-day now versus before Fflow?
The amount of Zoom calls that I have a day.
How many?
The max that we've done, probably 10 in a day.
That's a lot.
But that takes it out of you because, you know, you're always on. And then in between that, emails and...
Yeah, and you're pitching most of the time.
And it's pitching. So that's where having a team really helps.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing.
That's it.
Oh!
Thank you so much.
Thank you! Thank you, this was amazing. I loved it.
Thanks for listening. Let's keep the wheels turning and the community growing. So make sure to subscribe. The bigger the channel, the bigger the guests we can bring you.